Alright, what is up guys? Sin Priest or Priest here, and I'm going to show you guys my build. I am a Dragonknight, and I thought I'd share with you guys my Magicka DK build. Now this build is, it's still in the works. I might change some things in the future, I don't know, but so far this is what I've been using and it's worked for me. And it was relatively cheap for the most of it, and I thought I'd show you guys and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So let's get right into it. So starting off with my skills, my first bar is burning. My first ability on my first bar is burning embers. Slash an enemy with flame for 2k flame damage, and it does additional 7k over 10.5 seconds. Now this is a dot, so it's a great dot. It's cheap. You know, be even cheaper if I put reduced spell cost on my jewelry. But until then, right now, it's pretty cheap. 800 right now. It's an amazing dot because it does stack. So if it burns them for 10.5 seconds and it heals you for 36% of the damage inflicted when the effect ends, you can stack the duration to get greater heal. So that is really, really good. I thought it's nice, especially people who permablock and just sit there. You know, I just like spamming burning embers at them because I know they're not going to do anything, and it's cheap, so I can probably spam all day. So I'm just spamming burning embers at them until they figure out what they're going to do. And when they figure that out, by the time they're done burning, I'm going to get a heal back. So it's pretty good. I love this, and that is my X ability. My next ability is your main DPS ability, and that is Flame Lash. You lash an enemy with flame for 4k flame damage and set immobile or stun enemies off balance. Now when you target an off balance enemy, this becomes Power Lash, which deals 4,168 and stuns the target for 2 seconds, and it heals you for 4,000. So it's really good. It's really good, and that is your main DPS. So this is the ability you're going to be spamming and hitting them over and over and over and over with. So that's your main damage ability. Let's see, now our B ability is Invasion. This is our Sword and Shield ability. It does cost stamina. You rush the enemy and ram them, dealing 1807 physical and stunning them for 3 seconds. Stun duration is increased in proportion to distance traveled. So if you you close the gap, you gap close from 24 meters, they'll be knocked down for 5 seconds. And while they're down, 5 seconds is a long time in a fight. So if they're down for 5 seconds, you beat the living crap out of them with Flame Lash. You pop burning embers, hit them with Flame Lash, call it a good game. Now our LB is our AoE. It is a CC. It's in the Immobilize. It immobilizes them for 4 seconds. Now this is great because it does happen in an area, and it does. You can immobilize invisible targets. So if they're cloaked or they go into that vampire, the mist, you can still talons them. If you know that you're near them, talons, just spam talons. You'll grab them. You'll find them. Your talons will come out of the ground and grab nothing. It look like they're grabbing nothing, but in those talons, that's your vampire you're looking for. You wait until his mist goes away, and then you beat the living crap out of him, and you repeat. So it does do damage over time. So that's great. And when they are talons, your teammates can activate a synergy that does extra damage, but you rarely see teammates that do that. So our RB is Dragonfire Scale. Now this is Reflective Scale, but when you reflect the projectiles, they do 35% additional damage. So you flex your scales up to 4 projectiles over 4 seconds. So you're reflecting 4 projectiles. And this is good, and sometimes it's bad. I like it, but I hate the way it is right now because I can't use it in group when I'm fighting groups, because you have a lot of people with bow and arrows, and their bow attacks count as projectiles. So if someone is spamming a bow and arrow, they're gonna get rid of your dragon scale just shooting 4 arrows. So if there's a group of them spamming you with bows, you're gonna keep trying to spam fire scale, and it's gonna be a long day. But this is my RB. I love using it against Sorks, archers with poison injection. I love using this. It gets them all the time, and it's a must-have for any Magicka DK. My ultimate is Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Now, I've been debating this and Ferocious Leap or the Take Flight. Right now I have Take Flight on morphed, but I go back and forth. But Dawnbreaker is the ultimate for this one. Does extra damage. This is the Fighters Guild ultimate. It's cheap, only 100 ultimate. It does great damage against vampires and werewolves. Does 60 additional damage to Daedra and Undead. That's werewolves. 60% additional damage to a vampire or werewolf, and knocks them down for 6 seconds. Now that's a long time. 6 seconds is enough time for you to beat the living crap out of any vampire or werewolf. So very great ultimate. I love it. That's what I'm using right now in this build. For my resto bar, I do have hardened armor as my X. I'm running 5 light, 2 heavy. 5 light means I'm kind of squishy, so I need hardened armor to help me battle against stamina builds. So people with two-handed weapons, with dual swords, bow and arrow, harden ups my physical protection and lets me sustain just a little bit longer to win some fights. My Y is structured entropy. It does return health, so you deal magic damage over 14.4 seconds and restores health to you, plus an additional amount of health every 6 seconds, lasting 14.4 seconds. So every 13 seconds, keep hitting entropy. What I love about it is it gives you 8% max health and increases your spell damage by 20%. So if you hit somebody, you have 14.4 seconds of 20% extra damage. Very, very good. Now my B is Igneous Shield. This is the only damage shield that's worth having on any DK. Lasts 24 seconds, absorbs up to 4k damage. So absorbs 2,890 damage dealt to allies. Shields increase 100% for you. So that's almost 5. Oh, that's 5k. That's about 5k. That's a 5k shield. Whatever. What I love about it as well, it gives you Major Mending, which boosts the effects of your healing abilities by 30%. So this will stack with Coagulating Blood. Pop this, and within 7 seconds, pop Coagulating Blood. B, RB. That's a good combo. My LB ability is Cinderstorm. Now this is an AoE. It summons a Scorching Cloud of Ash at the target location, dealing 281 flame damage to deal my enemies every 0.5 seconds. Also reduce enemies' movement speed by 70% for 2.5 seconds even if they leave the area. Now this is the morph I chose. You gotta choose a morph that does damage when you activate it, or does damage, or this one that slows them down for 2.5 seconds even if they leave the area of effect. So it kind of gives you imaginary extra few meters of the Cinderstorm, so kind of pretends as if it was a bigger radius, maybe 7 meters instead of 5. So that's good to have. It does reveal people who are hidden or people who have gone into mist or cloaked. So if you see someone that's a vampire, he turns invisible, you want to try to use your skill shot this, aim it to where you think he's going to run to next, and it'll reveal him. Once you reveal him, continue to beat his ass. So RB is your self heal, Coagulating Blood. Draw on your Draconic Blood to heal 30% of missing health. Also grants major fortitude and minor vitality, increasing health recovered by 20% and healing received by 8% for 22 seconds. So the healing received is increased by 8% for 22 seconds. Now this stacks on itself as long as you cast it within 22 seconds. So now of this one, you have to cast it within 7 seconds to get that 30%. So you want to do the math and do a little bit of, do a little combo. So RB, B, RB. So within 3 seconds, 1 second for each. RB, B, RB. Or as long as you RB and you hit this, so RB then press B for Igneous Shield. As long as you hit RB again within 7 seconds, you're getting a lot of health. A lot of health back. The healing received is increased by 38%. That's a lot of health. That's a lot of health. So you think about that. RB, pop Coagulating Blood, Igneous Shield, and pop Coagulating Blood again. Now, Shifting Standard is the ultimate you're gonna have if you're running low on resources. it's good to have an ultimate that costs a lot, so you can get resources. The more you get, more resources back for Dragonknight passives. And if you're a Dragonknight, activate all passives, all class passives: Ardent Flame, Draconic Power, Earth and Heart. Unlock all the passives, and they're all useful. So Shifting Standard is your normal standard. If you're a DK, you're familiar with this. It's normal standard, only this morph it shifts. Now the reason I use this one in PvP is because people are roaches. They're fucking roaches. They love to roll out of your standard. Now nothing's more annoying than a roach that gets away. So if they roll out of my standard, what I want to do is I want to close the gap again and drop another standard on their face. Now people who are not Dragonites or even Dragonites forget Shifting Standard. They forget that they're that another standard. So when they see the other standard, they're scared. Like they're like, holy shit, another standard, you know. However, I do love to switch between Standard of Might and Shifting Standard. Standard of Might gives you 15% extra damage, I believe, and reduces 15% damage received. But that's if you stay in the circle. If they're not in the circle, then it's nothing's gonna happen. So I'm going with Shifting Standard as my ultimate for the second part. If you are a vampire, if you're watching this and you're a vampire, switch out Cinderstorm for Elusive Mist. DKs have no escapes, so it's probably a must. I might be switching to vampire just because I have no escape, and Elusive Mist is a great escape. So Cinderstorm, replace it with Elusive Mist if you are a vampire. This one, replace it with Devouring Swarm. If you're a vampire, you get a lot of health back with Devouring Swarm or Standard. Either way, you get health back. It's good to put Devouring Swarm if you're a vampire. I would replace it with Devouring Swarm if I was a vampire. Shifting Standard, bye-bye. Devouring Swarm, hello. So, now let's get into passives. Every passive for Sword and Shield, you want Cycle of Life, Absorb, and Essence Drain for Restoration Staff passives. You want all light passives. For heavy, I was experimenting with 5-piece heavy, but you want all the heavy passives except for bracing. Bracing only works if you're wearing 5 pieces of heavy or more. We're running 5 light, 2 heavy. Don't put any into bracing. You want Dawnbreak of, if you're running Dawnbreak of Smiting and not Ferocious Leap or Take Flight, you want to put 3 in the Slayer and activate Skill Tracker. Now the Slayer gives you 9% when attacking Daedra and Undead, and Skill Tracker allows this to affect werewolves. So if they're a vampire, they're getting 9% extra damage. If they're a werewolf, or they turn to werewolf, they're getting 9% extra damage. Mage's Guild, you want, if you can, get every Mage's Guild ability if you're doing PvP, and Persuasive Will, whatever. Let's see. I am a high elf, all passives. And that's it for that. Let me go into armor. With this set right now, I'm running 2 Torugs pack for my Sword and Shield. Let's see. Yep, Sword and Shield, Torugs pack. So 2 Torugs pack gives me the spell damage I need. Magnus, Stormknight, Magnus, Stormknight. So on my body, I'm running 5-piece Magnus, light Magnus, 5-piece light Magnus, and 2-piece Stormknight. Magnus is a craftable set, so you can get it at any level. The Stormknight is a droppable. You can't craft Stormknight, but if you're not a veteran and you want to get Stormknight, it does drop between levels 41, I believe, and 47. 41 and 47, somewhere around there. So Stormknight drops at 41 and 47, between 41 and 47 if you're not a veteran. So that's great to know. And Magnus is craftable. You can get it at any level. So I'm running 2 rings of Cyrodiil Light. I'm running 2 Cyrodiil Light rings for the spell damage. Cyrodiil Light rings, you can only get them at least at veteran 6, at the least. So if you're not a veteran and you want to run this build, like, don't worry. I have another way for you to do that. So if you're not a veteran and you don't have Cyrodiil's Light, if you're between level 30, 31 or 30 and 37, I believe, you want to get the Bands of Cyrodiil. These do drop before a veteran, and if you're not a veteran, and if you are a veteran, I think they drop at veteran 5. So if you're a V5 and you have Cyrodiil, put on Cyrodiil. So put on the 2 rings of Cyrodiil, and switch one of your armor pieces for Cyrodiil. I switched my sash. So sash Cyrodiil. So 3-piece Cyrodiil, 3-piece Stormknight, and 4-piece Magnus. So Cyrodiil will give me Magicka recovery and spell damage. The 4-piece Magnus will give me the max Magicka, the Magicka recovery, and the spell damage. And the 3-piece of the Stormknight gives me spell resistance and spell damage. The only downfall I see about the Stormknight, or what I don't like about it, is the trait. It's sturdy. Sturdy items take 28% less durability. I don't like that, but I think risking 2 trait spots is worth the spell resistance. I can maybe just pretend I'm running Nirnhoned, you know? So that's that. That's 5 light, 2 heavy. You can either run 5 Magnus on your body and Tomb Stormknight, or you can run and the 2 Cyrodiil's light rings and the 1 Stormknight necklace, or you can do this one if you're not a veteran and you don't want to go looking. You would be mad that this is only a veteran build. If you're not a veteran, look for the Cyrodiil rings. They drop between level 31 and 37, and if you're beyond 37, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have to look for a guild trader if you're not a veteran and you pass 37 to find 31 to 37 Cyrodiil rings. So Cyrodiil rings drops between level 31 and 37 for non-vets. The Stormknight drops between 40 and 47 for non-vets. So that's the item pieces I'm running. Torugs pack is a craftable set. Anyone can make it. If you have a buddy, have him make you one. Now I am running the Dominion's Restoration Staff, but I do plan on maybe, if I can find Veteran 12 Cyrodiil rings, I will be happy to run a Magnus Resto Staff. But until then, I'm running Dominion Resto, and I will be running 5-piece Magnus and the 2 Cyrodiil's light. And this is until I can find V12 Cyrodiil rings, and then I'll do the math and calculate the risks and stuff like that. So this is what I have so far for equipment. Now, I recently reached Veteran 14, so I don't have that many champion points. But if you are wondering what my champion points, I have 10 in the tower, 10 in the lover, 2 in shadow, 21 apprentice, 10 steed, 10 lady, 2 lord. Now, for the tower, I'd have 10 in magician to reduce the spell cost. For the lover, I have 10 in the arcanist or whatever you want to call it for the 5% Magicka recovery, and I have 2 in the tumbling. I'm gonna put more into tumbling because I find myself running out of stamina because I keep getting spammed with CCs every time I get into a fight. So I will be investing a lot into tumbling in the future. Now for the mage tree, for the apprentice, I'm not gonna leave the apprentice until I at least put 30, because I want the spell critical rating by 12%, and this unlocks at apprentice rank 30. So I'm gonna keep putting points in here until I get that, and then I'm gonna maybe move on to the next. But until then, I'm running 10 into elemental. You are DK. All of your attacks, most of your attacks are fire. That's elemental. That's not magic. That's elemental. So you want to put, I am putting 10 into elemental expert for a 5% increase in my flame damage. I have 5 in Elfborn and 5 in Spell Erosion. This is just to balance it out. I could put 10 into Elfborn and then wait later on to put 10 into Spell Erosion, but I thought I'd balance this out for now. I have 1 into Blessed. Increase the effectiveness of your healing. So yeah, I am a DK. I have a self heal. 1% matters. I'm gonna put more in the future, but until I get more points, that's how that looks. For the warrior trees, I have 10 to block expertise, reduce the cost of blocking. I'll be doing a lot of blocking as a DK. That's the key to this. I have to block to and be enabled to sustain. My spell resistance is pretty high already, so I'm not worried about that right now. I do run 5 light, 2 heavy, so I'm running light armor focus, running 10 into the light armor focus, giving me 3.6% more armor weighing 5 pieces of light. Gonna put more into that, so until I get more points, that's what I have that on. This one I have 1 into Bastion, 1 into Quick Recovery. This does stack with the other healing, so an extra 1%. This one, increased effectiveness of damage absorbing. I put this on because of my... I'm thinking if I maybe invest more into Bastion, I want to see how much that affects the Igneous Shield. But until then, I am putting 1 in there and 1 in there, and I'm working on getting more points. It is tough, so that's my champion tree. Now, I do have a test subject back there just to show you guys, and show you guys what everything looks like before I fight. So before I fight, I do the look at that Magnus proc. I do Igneous Shield, and I do the scales before I fight, just so I know I'm ready. So after scales, I'm sitting at 21k spell resistance and 14k physical. Now that's enough physical resistance to put up a fight against an annoying stamina build, and that's more than enough spell resistance to last in a fight against a Sork before I butcher the crap out of him. So pretty good. The scales are pretty good, and I do recommend them on this build for light armor. Now for the entropy. Before entropy, I'm sitting at, let me bring up my sword and shield. I'm sitting at 1776. When I entropy, I have 2131, and that's a lot. That's pretty good for now. And I do plan on making my armor all purple and, you know, finding better spell damage and chance. But 2131 in a server with no buffs, that's pretty good, because there are some servers where the lines have all the Elder Scrolls, all the enemy keeps, and they're buffed. You know, the critical rating skyrocket and everything's all buffed up. But right now, from where I'm sitting at, this is pretty good. And if you guys love this build, hope you guys leave a like and subscribe. And if you guys didn't like anything or recommend anything I change, please leave a comment in the description, because I started a month ago when ESO came on the console, and I don't have any add-ons to really, like the PC add-ons. I don't have the pleasure of those add-ons to tell you guys what does, like, specifically, and it's kind of hard to work with stuff by eyesight, you know. And so this is what I've made. This is my build, and if you guys do like it, please leave a like and subscribe. If you don't like it, please leave a comment and tell me what you guys want me to improve. So that is my build, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.